For the past 27 days, we've explored constitutional amendments, changes made to our founding document as America has grown and adapted. But to truly understand these amendments and how our government functions, we need to examine the Constitution's original structure, the three branches of government that form the foundation of American democracy. When the framers gathered in Philadelphia in 1787, they faced a monumental challenge: create a government strong enough to be effective, but limited enough to protect liberty. Their solution was brilliant divide power among three separate branches, each with distinct responsibilities and the ability to check the others. This system of separation of powers with checks and balances remains America's fundamental governing structure. The framers didn't invent this concept from scratch. They were heavily influenced by Enlightenment thinkers, particularly the French philosopher Baron de Montesquieu, who argued in the spirit of the laws that concentrating legislative, executive, and judicial powers in the same hands, whether of one, few, or many, constitutes the very definition of tyranny. The American founders had also experienced tyranny firsthand under British rule, where King George III in Parliament exercised unchecked power over the colonies. The framers were determined to prevent any single person or group from wielding such concentrated authority. Interestingly, America's first attempt at national government, the Articles of Confederation, had essentially failed because it created the opposite problem. The Articles established a weak central government with almost no executive or judicial branches. Congress had authority but couldn't effectively govern. The country was falling apart economically and politically. The Constitution that emerged from the Philadelphia Convention in 1787 represented a careful balance between these extremes. It created a government strong enough to function effectively, but divided enough to prevent tyranny. Let's examine each branch, starting with the one the framers considered first and most extensively, the legislative branch. Article 1 of the Constitution establishes Congress, the legislative branch. Notice that the framers put this first, reflecting their belief that in a republic, the lawmaking power is primary. Congress consists of two houses, the Senate and the House of Representatives. The House of Representatives, called the People's House, is elected directly by citizens for two-year terms. Representation is based on population, so larger states have more representatives. The framers intended the House to be responsive to current public opinion, which is why terms are short. Representatives must frequently face voters and answer for their decisions. The Senate, originally selected by state legislatures until the 17th Amendment changed this in 1913, serves six-year terms. Each state has two senators regardless of population, ensuring equal state representation. The framers intended the Senate to be more deliberative and less reactive to immediate public passions, serving as a check on the more populous House. Congress has enumerated powers listed in Article 1, Section 8. These include collecting taxes, regulating commerce, coining money, establishing post offices, declaring war, and raising armies. The necessary and proper clause gives Congress authority to make laws needed to execute these powers, though debate continues about how broadly this clause should be interpreted. Crucially, Congress holds the power of the purse. No money can be spent without congressional appropriation. This gives Congress tremendous leverage over the other branches, which depend on Congress for funding. Article 2 establishes the executive branch, headed by the president. The framers debated executive power intensely. Some wanted a weak executive, others a strong one. The result was a president with significant but limited authority. The president serves a four-year term, originally with no limit on re-election, until the 22nd Amendment imposed a two-term limit in 1951. The president is elected not directly by popular vote but through the Electoral College, a compromise designed to balance popular will with state interests. The president's powers include serving as commander-in-chief of the armed forces, making treaties with Senate approval, appointing federal judges and executive officers with Senate confirmation, and ensuring that laws are faithfully executed. The president can veto legislation, though Congress can override vetoes with two-thirds majorities in both houses. The framers created a unitary executive. One person holds executive authority, believing this would ensure accountability and decisive action during emergencies. But they also constrained executive power, requiring Senate approval for appointments and treaties, and giving Congress authority to override vetoes, and even impeach and remove presidents for high crimes and misdemeanors. Article 3 establishes the judicial branch, headed by the Supreme Court. The framers devoted less attention to the judiciary than to the other branches, perhaps because they saw it as the least dangerous branch with neither force nor will, but merely judgment, as Alexander Hamilton wrote in Federalist No. 78. Federal judges, including Supreme Court justices, are appointed by the president with Senate confirmation and serve during good behavior, essentially for life unless they resign, retire, or are impeached. This lifetime appointment protects judicial independence, ensuring judges can rule according to law and Constitution rather than political pressure. The Supreme Court's most significant power, judicial review, the authority to strike down laws as unconstitutional, isn't explicitly stated in the Constitution. The court established this power in Marbury v. Madison, and it has been accepted ever since as essential to constitutional governance. But here's where the system becomes truly ingenious. These three branches don't operate independently. They're interwoven through an elaborate system of checks and balances, ensuring that no branch can dominate the others. Congress checks the president through its power to override vetoes, refuse to confirm appointments, control funding, and impeach and remove the president. Congress checks the judiciary by controlling court funding, determining the number of federal judges, and having power to impeach judges. The president checks Congress through veto power and the ability to call special congressional sessions. The president checks the judiciary by appointing judges who share the president's judicial philosophy. The judiciary checks both Congress and the president through judicial review, the power to declare their actions unconstitutional. This is an enormous power, but one constrained by the court's lack of enforcement authority. It depends on the executive branch to enforce its decisions. The framers designed this system believing that ambition must be made to counteract ambition, as James Madison wrote in Federalist No. 51. Each branch would naturally defend its own authority, preventing any branch from accumulating too much power. This system creates intentional inefficiency. Passing laws is difficult because it requires agreement between the House, Senate, and President, or supermajorities to override a veto. The framers saw this not as a bug, but as a feature better that government acts slowly and deliberately than quickly and rashly. The three branches work together through what political scientists call separated institutions sharing powers. Congress declares war, but the president commands military forces. The president negotiates treaties, but the Senate must approve them. Congress creates courts, but the president appoints judges who then interpret congressional laws. This framework has proven remarkably durable. For over 235 years, America has operated under the same basic constitutional structure, adapted through amendments, but fundamentally unchanged. The three branches continue checking and balancing each other, preventing tyranny while enabling governance. Understanding this framework is essential to understanding everything else about American government. Every amendment we've studied operates within this structure. The 15th Amendment expands voting rights, but those rights elect members of Congress and electors who choose the president. The 22nd Amendment limits presidential terms, but Congress proposed it and states ratified it. The 25th Amendment addresses presidential succession, but Congress makes the final determination in disputed cases. As we prepare to examine each branch in greater detail in the coming weeks, remember the framers' central insight. Liberty requires both empowering government to act effectively and dividing that power so thoroughly that no person or faction can threaten freedom. The three branches of government, operating through checks and balances within a system of separated powers, remain the mechanism through which America balances these competing necessities. The Constitution's framework isn't perfect, no human creation is, but it has protected American liberty while enabling effective governance for longer than any other written constitution in world history. That remarkable achievement testifies to the wisdom of the framers and to the enduring power of their central idea, that dividing power protects freedom better than concentrating it ever could.